And we weren't on stage. Oh, y'all, after 2 weeks, I've just completely forgotten how to host a show. So, everybody, welcome to Liberty Libations number 186. As I pour this much needed beer, I have been looking forward to this beer all stinking day. Yeah. Actually, I've been looking forward to it yesterday and today.
Yeah, that was going to say, I've been looking forward to my drinks for longer than that because I'm not drinking during the week now.
Y'all, my name's Jake Green. And if you're just now joining us, grab a drink. If you've never watched the show before, grab a drink, sit down, sit back, comment, relax, enjoy. Don't take anything Alden says too seriously. And
take everything that I say extremely seriously.
Take it too seriously. Yeah.
Take it, go really overboard with how serious you take.
But we balance each other
Zane
out.
With the Mudlord sign behind him.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. I'm joined as usual by Zane, Placie, and Alden Hardee. Nick Ciesielski is on his way. I apologize for missing the last 2 weeks of the show. I was on family vacation in Oregon.
Welcome back to your show.
Thank you. Also working a show the week before that. So it's been a busy time for me. But yeah,
it is.
Zane, what are you drinking, my man?
I've got a 2023 Argentinian Malbec.
Oh my gosh. Okay, classing up the show. All right, Alden, what you got?
Do it.
I've got
I don't think so.
A weird theme. I've got a G&T, the tallest one on earth, and then I've got a twisted T, so it's like T squared.
Okay. Alden is T squared tonight. I've got it's too hot to be drinking whiskey, so I've got Cold Smoke from Kettle House.
I'm going
to top it off.
Yes.
There we go. All right. And now I'm drinking it in the Drink and Be Free glass, which you can buy over at peacefulseed.network.
Is that one of those ones that's shaped like a can?
Yeah.
And I haven't seen one of those in a minute.
Lid and a straw, too. It's great.
I used to have those at the bar. Those are pretty cool.
I love them. Like, it's such a cool, shape. And then the top is wooden and the straw is metal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Well, while we're plugging stuff,
are we? That's right. I forgot that's our glass. Like, I was just talking about the general shape of the glass, but yeah, I forgot that is a plug.
Check out my appearance on the Libertarian Leadership podcast Monday night to promote my campaign.
Nice. There we go. Heck yeah. Yeah, you what campaign is that, Zane?
I'm running for Fulton County Soil and Water Conservation District Supervisor, aka Mudlord. And if you live in Fulton County, I require your vote.
There we go. It's Zane Placie from Mudlord, y'all. Go check out all his stuff. Go to voteplacie.com. He's been on a couple shows this past week, right?
Last week I went on Propaganda Report.
There we go.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Do you think if you get 30 votes, you'll win?
No, because in 2022, both my opponents got over 300,000 votes, which means I'm not going to win with 30 votes. Wow. But I also think I'm locked into at least tens of thousands of votes from people who show up to the voting booth, have no clue who anyone is, and cluelessly vote for me.
So Is it a bipartisan race or nonpartisan race? Sorry.
Nonpartisan. So the two incumbents will have an I next to their name for incumbent, but there is no R's, D's, or L's, which is to my advantage.
Some quack says that was an excellent interview.
Well, nice. Thank you very much.
Heck
I haven't seen it yet.
It was very good. You did a great job. Yeah, we need to make a commercial for you, man. That would be so much fun.
Put that on Instagram. Yeah. Get the use of vote.
Dude, you got to do something funny with Binkley. I think he could knock that out of the park for you. If y'all shoot it and he doesn't feel like editing it, I can edit.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do something.
Heck yeah.
You should come out of the ground as a zombie.
There we go.
Well, we've considered whether or not I could get away with doing Mudface, but given some recent legal verdicts, I'm not sure that's a good idea.
I don't think so.
You mean the verdicts we're going to be talking about today? Oh dear, yeah, don't do that. No Mudface. All right. All right, y'all. We're going to do one very familiar topic, and then a second less familiar topic, and then for the second half of the show, we're going to be talking about speech, free speech, the consequences of speech, and how there are two separate standards for those in power and those who are not. So let's start with Flock U, which is our first. I don't like that it fades in. No, there we go. Hang on. There we go. That's much better. I don't like the. Do y'all like the fade or do y'all like the? Y'all see the fade in, fade out?
It just looks like it's like having a seizure to me.
Yeah, it looked better the first time. Huh. I actually kind of like it. It kind of signifies that something's changed. So
I'm okay with it. Yeah, because sometimes I don't notice when we're on a new subject, so I'm okay.
Okay,
with it.
Might grab your attention a little more.
Yeah.
Well, see, sometimes Jake forces us to move on by changing.
That's when I notice. Yeah.
But then we don't notice, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, that's very fair. All right, let's watch this first video.
To announce a new company called Shepherd Safety. We're launching satellites to watch over Casa Grande day and night. Our AI will monitor where government officials go, where they stop, who they meet with, and when they return home. We've already started collecting and building profiles on your vehicles, spouses' vehicles, children's vehicles, and other visual characteristics. We'll combine that information with publicly available data, Bluetooth signals, advertising IDs, vehicle information, commercial data sources. There's no difference than the current flock safety capture systems. Local businesses will be invited to join our network so government officials can continue being protected while shopping, eating, or traveling throughout the city. Some of you might think this sounds invasive, and you may worry about abuse. You may worry about unauthorized access, tracking innocent people. We understand those concerns. After all, those are the exact same concerns of all the citizens. Now, this is satire. I would never do this to you. Could I? Probably. But I wouldn't. Because it's wrong. Just like what you guys are doing to us is wrong. I'm innocent. I don't do anything wrong. You're tracking and uploading my information, my movements every day without my permission. And I don't appreciate it. I'd like you to stop. I'd like you to do something about it. I'd like you to put it behind a warrant, just like my phone records. That's what I'm asking you guys to do. Today, I'm excited.
I
do have to really respect just the good old-fashioned, request of this guy going to the city council and just nicely asking them to stop.
Just please stop. Yeah.
Like, that's so heartwarming.
Some quack is already picking nits with him. So nobody says Casa Grande, it's Casa Grande.
Grande.
Well, some quack.
I love this guy's shirt choice too. When he like made this address, he's just wearing like a Hawaiian shirt or whatever. Like,
yeah,
it's awesome.
It's great, dude. I thought this was one of the best ways to present this to numbskull idiot city council members. Like,
I love the like role reversal, like paint the picture of like same exact points.
Yes.
But now it's in our hands. We have the power and we're spying on your officials. How do you feel about that? Like, it's honestly a really, because it's like changed nothing except for the target. And it's
part of me wonders if you could almost make the same exact argument, but not even have to reverse it at all. Like, simply point out to the city councilman, when you're like allowing all of these flock cameras to be installed, you're like, they're spying on you too. Like, you're not exempt, most likely. If someone gets a hold of this that doesn't like you personally, I mean, it's not that the flock cameras are blind to city councilors or other government officials. They're being surveilled just like everybody else is.
Right.
Yeah,
or you
but
can do something
this
like
is more impactful, man. I think it's way more impactful.
I like the flip of it, of like public.
Well, no, I certainly think that was an effective thing to say. I'm just saying, I think beyond even what he said. You don't even need a hypothetical program. Right. You can just say the program that is actually
doing existence. This, like, regardless. Yeah. You could flip it too. You could paint it a different way and be like, hey, like, what if we did this to track like the movements of, like, I don't know, your children, or like whatever, like just something to be more alarming. Like, how would you feel if like we were like tracking like all the underage girls in the area or some weird thing for like, you know, targeting in that weird way? I don't know. Like you could find any number of ways to like use the same thing that it's doing, but just like give one weird target, like one focal point of it. And then it becomes weird when it's, I feel like people get too used to like this, like, well, it's just this broad, it's everything thing, and I have nothing to hide thing or whatever. And it's like, but when you start to identify a group and like when you single someone out, I think it does something to like make it feel more poignant. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. And I really like your idea of doing that to underage girls. That sounds great.
I don't want to put that out there as an idea.
I don't want to do that.
That's not my idea.
I do have to say, Alden, I have always wondered how they know who the singles are near me.
those pop-ups aren't real, Zane. Oh my god.
Some quack says, scare them with the people who sell CP on the dark web definitely know how to hack into this.
What is CP?
Corn pop.
Child corn.
Oh god. Okay. Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad I didn't know that. I was like, cyberpunk? Like, that's the first thing that popped into my head. Like, the black market cyberpunk copies. Like,
of course, your brain would go there.
Yeah, of course. I'm honestly, again, I'm proud it went there before the other thing, so that's fine.
Yeah, and look, we've seen a bunch of videos of folks going to city councils and just screaming at their city council and like letting them have it and like being very passionate about it.
Like a Parks and Rec scene or something.
Like a Parks and Rec scene, exactly. And this was an interesting reverse or just alternative to what we normally see. And I wonder if it's far more effective. Is it like the Sam Harris effect, where if you just talk nice and slow,
you just talk quiet,
calm,
then you're smart.
No matter what you say, it sounds rational and reasonable.
Yeah, even if that's not always true in his case. But
it's never true in his case. The
I would say, I don't want to say never, but like it's. Okay. I often disagrey with him. But
30% of the time, he's
wrong every time. Yeah.
And I do wonder if like people, when you confront them in some like hysterical or incredibly passionate way, people tend to get defensive and try to find a reason to disagree with you or to take a stand on the opposite side of you. So I'm wondering if his approach in this instance would end up swaying far more people.
I would think it has a better chance than most approaches. I think so. I honestly think I felt something in listening to that where I was like, if I hadn't considered it, I think it paints a better picture than most other, even well laid out arguments. But there's something about it when you just like, when you take something and just turn it on its head, change nothing about it, but just, you know, like assign a different function to it, you know, and then it can really reveal like the underlying like wrongs or principles of it that are, you know, still there. They're always there, but sometimes the certain circumstances around it can sort of disguise it or like make it feel. I don't know about that,
but yeah, I agree with that. Zane, what are your thoughts on his approach? That was the first thing you mentioned.
Right. So, as cathartic as it can be to come in and yell and scream, and you know, clips like that often go quite viral and make very good points. So I certainly think there is some value in it. But yeah, it's all, and I don't want to be too prescriptive about, oh, you should communicate this way instead of that way, because I think depending on your own temperament and the city council that you're dealing with and what exactly the issue is and how you're going to be able to deliver like your speech, I don't want to say, well, you should never go in there kicking and screaming, because maybe you should. but I do appreciate this approach too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's I agree with you. I don't think there should be a standard on what you should do going to speak to city council. I mean, it's just like health, like it's all individual. It's whatever works for you and works in the certain circumstance. So
well, like now that flock cameras have really become something in the public consciousness in a way that I can't really remember any libertarian issue being in the past several years. I'm thinking maybe I should show up to my city council and talk about this, but it would the way that I would have conceived of myself doing that is by like writing out a speech and then going there and delivering it.
You should smear mud on all the cameras.
I mean, that's what he did. He was reading it.
Yeah, he read
yeah.
it.
So it's just whatever your style is. Be the best that you can be. I guess is what I'm saying.
I approve of you doing that, but at the end, you have to say this message is brought to you by Liberty Libations.
I think every person's best it'll look different too. Like,
yeah,
my style is like, and I don't mean to, it's neither for nor against anyone's style. That's the whole point or whatever. But just to say, like, I'm not like, who's like a Louder with Crowder kind of guy or whatever, like a prove me wrong kind of energy. Like, I don't know. I just like, I'm uncomfortable with, that for the most part. I've like bubbled up before, even on this show or whatever. Like, I can sometimes get heated, but like, I don't try to like go in from the start. I don't want to lose my cool. I'm actually trying not to, but I don't want to go in from the start with this like rage baity kind of like angle. My goal is to like stay as cool as long as possible. And that doesn't always happen, but
it almost never happens with me, even though that's generally my goal too. about 1 minute in, I'm heated.
Did someone trash your soccer team, and then you're like, oh boy, like,
yeah, it's mainly when people trash things like it's mainly when people back things that are terrible. So like,
isn't that worse than trashing a good thing is backing a terrible thing?
Yes, being
I
a
really
fan,
think it's more upsetting.
Being a fan of the second and third seasons of Ted Lasso, I'm going to yell at you. I'm going to yell so hard.
Those are really hard to watch.
They're terrible. We have one more flock video real quick. Here's Dan Levy, but not the Dan Levy from Schitt's Creek.
I was going to say, I know that name.
An act of violence that was done by an unhinged individual. Vandals struck at 3 separate locations in the Collar City. Automated license plate reading cameras, ALPRs, also referred to as flock cameras, were destroyed sometime overnight at a time when these cameras have stirred up a great deal of controversy in the city.
There's been a nationwide concern about flock cameras. Some people feel like they need to take matters into their own hands when their government is not. It's unfortunate.
Deirdre Shea is with the organization Deflock Troy, a group that has been involved in a concerted effort for there to be reasonable guidelines and oversight for the data collected by the cameras. If these cameras help police solve crimes, if they help them take bad people off the streets, you could argue that's a good thing.
Absolutely. But there has to be balance, right? And right now that this technology is totally unrestricted and can be used without a warrant, right? Do you want somebody to be following you around town without a warrant? You want there to be probable cause. You want there to be a due process, right? And there aren't any rules around that right now.
In a joint statement from Mayor Carmela Mantello and Police Chief Dan DeWolf, they point out these acts do nothing to improve our community. Enough is enough. Troy deserves better than this, and together we will continue working to preserve and protect the community we all love. Deirdre Shea stresses she condemns the vandalism. It is not our organization's method of activism. Also from the mayor's office, we refuse to allow the acts of a few individuals define our community. This act, they say, will be thoroughly investigated.
What is he doing? Why is his foot on it?
Good
Reporters are one of the most annoying groups of people on the planet. They really are. Some unhinged individual.
Well, yeah. It's amazing how you can just say things without evidence, right? because the mayor's office says, "Oh, this did nothing to improve our community." Well,
yeah.
In your opinion,
I say that it did do something to improve your community.
Right. Yeah.
Now we're at an impasse.
Yeah. Like
also,
that,
is this
that is
person
the
even
definition
unhinged?
of improving your community? Destroying, like getting rid of surveillance equipment that is unwarranted.
It could be a very based person, not an unhinged person. You know, like even the
It could be the most
statement.
hinged person you've ever
The most
met.
hinged.
Yeah, if you're a reporter and you're saying words like unhinged, rethink being a reporter.
Yeah, well, and if
you're not
you're
supposed
80,
to use opinionated language. You're supposed to be very state the facts and interview the person, and not like, oh, well, if they use the flock cameras to arrest bad guys, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Like,
in the reporter's defense,
okay.
If you are the chairperson of an organization called DFlock, that is a softball question. That question was asked by the reporter with the intent of trying to get that lady's, one sentence elevator pitch about her organization. Like if you were the head of that organization, that's the question that you would expect to be asked 10 times a day.
Right. Very true. Yeah. That's for normies. And so I just forget that that's the thing that people need to do. Yeah. I mean, the dude, yeah, he's not a good reporter. I'm going to tell you that.
No, I mean, he
looks ridiculous on camera.
Not good journalism, but journalism's, about dead, but at least on mainstream level.
Well, I wouldn't even call that journalism. That's just like reporting.
No, I agree.
Yeah, that's
local news drama. It's become a soap opera. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
It's been for a long time.
I will offer my answer to the question of, well, if it helps the police catch bad guys, isn't that a good thing? Which isn't actually that different from what the lady said, but maybe I'll have a time to get a little bit deeper, which is that it helps the police is what's called a thought terminating cliche, which is just like a thing that someone can say and everyone just stops thinking and immediately agrees with whoever said it. It's kind of similar to how, this isn't maybe as true now, but 5 or 10 years ago, if someone called you a racist, then everyone around would be like, well, we can't talk with you anymore. Someone just called you a racist. And so it ends all thought. And so I think if you really did continue to think about it, you would have to agree it would help catch more bad guys if the police were just allowed to go into anybody's house that they wanted, search on any device that they wanted with no warrant. But I doubt anyone would accept that on the grounds it would help catch bad guys, because people are at least familiar enough with the concept of the Fourth Amendment that they wouldn't be happy with the police just being able to go into anybody's house anytime that they wanted. And on this, in the same vein, it's not acceptable for the police to just know where everybody is at all times. If you really sat down and thought about it, that's not a trade-off that most people would make.
This is like the Minority Report argument or whatever, or the Patriot Act even, when they rolled that out and they were like, hey, this is for national security and this is to stop terrorism. And it's like, name one fucking terrorist that helped stop. And it was just an invasion of privacy of everyone. One. No, I don't. I literally don't think there's one.
I think there have actually been people. I can't.
We could make the case if there were 53, even we could still argue, is it worth it? But I don't even think there's been one. But
yeah, I don't think there's been one.
Well, and it's also the case that if you really were interested in helping the police solve more murders and thefts and crimes that people actually care about, there are so many other things you could do. Chief among them, ending the drug war. Because
stop inflation and stop drug war and stop stop these other
that too. And I'm sure I've said this on the show before, but it bears repeating. Police love enforcing drug crime because it's easy. They get quick wins that they can post on Facebook. They raise money for the department. But if you really asked the general public, the police are going to spend resources either prioritizing solving murders and thefts, or they're going to prioritize busting people for selling crack
use or some. Yeah,
I think most people would prioritize the former, but in practice, the police always prioritize the latter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, y'all, we cover flock stuff quite a bit, but there's a better show that covers flock stuff even more in depth.
I was wondering if this is going to come.
And it's on the Peaceful Sea Network. It's called Banished Big Brother. You know what? I should actually just pull up the page so everybody can see.
I was going to ask if Zach was like producing or in the chat or anything because of this. But
he's in the chat now. He just he just commented. But yeah, if you want to go check out their show, it's fantastic. One of my favorite shows. It does an excellent job. I guess
it really does hone in on these kind of things a lot better.
Banished Big Brother, they really go into it. They had one of the best guys on this past week, with James Dutton. He's been working on flock cameras down in Clayton County, Georgia, for a while.
And working on them, do you mean cutting them down?
Sure. You can either go to peacefulsea.network or banishedbigbrother.com to get involved. You can even start your own local chapter of Banished Big Brother in your state or region. So go check that out. Zach Varnell is in the comments right now. Elizabeth always says putting a camera in everyone's house would reduce domestic violence, but that doesn't make it acceptable. There we go.
Would it though?
I do think it would reduce it.
I think you would just find the room to beat your wife that the camera's not in.
Well, if there's
if
a
you
camera,
just said a camera.
Yeah.
No, you just said a camera in everyone's house.
Okay. Way to be technical about it, you friggin' semantic.
Well, I'm working with what you're giving me, the statement.
Cheddar Cheese makes a phenomenal point, which is you catch a lot more bad guys when you make everyone a bad guy.
Ah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very true.
Fantastic.
What a great way to like actually a flip on the whole drug war thing is like just to label all drug users even bad guys. Like,
yeah. Well, y'all go check out that show. Fantastic show. And it's on Peace. We distribute it on Peaceful Sea Network, though they are an independent show. All right. Let's move on to our next topic. There we go. Did y'all see the little animation there, Alden? Did it catch your eye?
No. I was noticing one of my drawers is half open and it's bothering me.
Go shut it.
I'll get it later.
Here, I'm going to do it again.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I saw it.
There we go. Perfect.
It like twitches like my eye has been twitching all week.
It doesn't fade in and out as much as you'd think. Let's see if
it just vibrates.
If I just take it off,
and then
it actually fades in a lot better.
That caught my attention far more.
If I fade it out and then fade the next one in.
If you remove it and put it back as a new thing, that totally works for me. For like hyper ADHD brain of like, wait, something's gone. Like,
I feel like now I'm gonna have to make GIFs or something. This is stupid. All right.
Do like the old like PowerPoint, like it breaks and comes in. The 90s PowerPoint.
Oh, the one where like the entire screen breaks into tiny squares and then reforms.
And like fragments and comes back like moths or whatever.
When I was in 3rd grade, that was the absolute coolest thing that you could do.
Oh, yeah.
We could definitely do a retro episode. I think that'd be hilarious.
Dude, if we did like a Microsoft like 95 level, like Paint and Excel of 95 and like PowerPoint and like all the effects and like the stupid word fonts and everything, that would be jarring and awful, but nostalgic in a weird way.
Yeah. Yeah. If we're still doing this show on the 50th anniversary of Windows 95, we'll do it then. All right, y'all. The next topic we're talking about is Graphene OS, which it's an operating system that you can use on any Android style phone. You can't use it on an iPhone.
Graphene?
It's called Graphene OS. It's the objective is privacy.
And why is it called Graphene?
I don't know. Somebody thought it was cool. I don't friggin' know. But I'll pull up the website.
I didn't know what this was about because I've never heard of it, but all the associations with graphene for me are very different.
All right. So the private and secure mobile operating system with Android app compatibility developed as a nonprofit open source project. And So here's the basics about it. Security, privacy and security focused, formerly known as Copperhead OS, which I'd never heard of that. So I only have known about it since it turned to Graphene OS, which I've known about Graphene for like 6 years. So Copperhead must have been a long time ago.
Weird.
Yeah, the features page provides an overview of the substantial privacy and security improvements added by Graphene OS to the Android open source project. And it does a really good job. It has no Google apps or services, as you can see here. And it has a ton of support for it. And you can.
I don't trust it because it's called Graphene and their previous name was a poisonous snake.
Well, Alden, you don't trust anything, so that's really not saying much.
Yeah. Is the logo based on the carbon molecule for the graphene? Is that what that's like? How is graphene used in this? It's software, not a hardware. I don't understand why it's called graphene. I can't get off of this. I'm sorry.
Don't know. Why is Facebook called Facebook? There's no faces or books.
It was built off of a thing that used to be called Face Match, and it was based on faces at that time.
You're a doofus.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That is the molecular structure of graphene, by the way.
It's like carbon in a single molecule sheet or whatever connected to other carbons.
Before we go to the next article, welcome to the stage, Mr. Nick Ciesielski. What's up, buddy?
I've been knocking doors.
What are you drinking?
You've been kicking in doors.
Larceny. So got some whiskey.
Were you threatening people? Is that why the cops were called on you?
Did you have a warrant?
No, we were just knocking doors and petitioning because
knocking on doors, right?
Yeah. So we were up in some basically old person retirement community.
Perfect.
And
they're all going to vote for Nixon this year.
So I knocked it's like duplexes. So I knocked the one house and had a good conversation with the lady there. Went next. This was like at the top of the street, and we had guys working up at the top, and we were coming up the road, so we were about done anyway. Go next door. The guy's sitting out front, so I start walking up, and I'm like, "This is what I'm doing." And he's like, I hand him like the brochure, the little card that I've been handing out for our candidate, and he's like, "What's your name?" I'm like, "My name's Nick." He's like, "And where's your permit?" I'm like, "What permit would that be?" He's like, "You need a permit to be soliciting here or most other places in this area." I'm like, "Sir, I'm not soliciting. I'm political canvassing." Then he like gets all grumbly and he's like, "Goodbye." So I turn and I walk away, and then he reaches down and picks up a phone and starts dialing. And so I get up to the guys there. I skip the next house because it was like one house in the top of the street, and the other guys are standing there. I'm like, "Guys, I think the cops are getting called on us." And I'm looking, it's like 7:30, and I was needed to leave to get here anyway. So we hopped in the car up there, drove down to where we were parked down at the bottom. And, we're bullshitting for a second. This blue SUV rolls up and rolls down the window, and there's two cops in there. And they're like, "Did you guys call us?" We're like, "Nope." And they're like, "Were you guys knocking doors?" We're like, "Yep." So so where we were parked, our candidate Brian, he was the one who drove us up to National in a bus, in a little short bus. And so he had that, and he's got like his signs and our governor's sign, one of which says "End property tax" on the back of the bus. So that was in clear view of them. And so we're like, I had a guy up there that didn't seem too happy that I asked him, talk to him. And they were just basically like, "Okay, well, I don't know why they're complaining if you want to end property tax. So have a good one."
That's hilarious.
Dude, it's ridiculous. The people who question whether or not you have a permit, that's why I left civilization. I stop asking me if I have a permit for everything that I freaking do. I am required to get zero permits for building up here in Montana.
Nice.
Not one.
I've been knocking doors all week, and this is the first time I've had that. We also had one of the other guys who was up there. He went off on his own to do a separate cul-de-sac, and he got chased out of the cul-de-sac by one of the guys that lived there.
Jesus.
Like apparently he rang the doorbell. Yeah, he rang the doorbell, and the guy was talking. The guy answered through the Ring doorbell and was talking to him through that. And he gives the spiel, and the guy's like, "Oh, so you're with Rand Paul," and it just got hostile there or whatever. And the guy was like trying to get into a debate with him or something. So he just like turned and left. And then I guess the guy from the Ring camera saw that he turned and started going to the neighbor's house. And so then the guy came out of the house and started yelling at him that the neighbors don't need to hear it. And then, hey, don't sign that. He's with Rand Paul.
What a weirdo. Some people are really
Kentucky.
That's not what we're doing here, but yeah.
Well,
that's actually the most
eventful. At least it's more interesting than normal door knocking. So that's fun. We've been talking about Graphene OS.
It's fun. Yeah, it was funny. I mean, it's yeah, I was just going to say it was a highly, highly successful day for us. I mean, we pulled over 50 signatures between everyone who was out today.
All right.
For our one candidate. And so we're down to just about 100. And like a couple days ago, last weekend, we probably needed almost 300. So like this past week, we've just been knocking it out. And, I was planning, okay, if we got 25 yesterday, 25 signatures today, then we needed like 150 going into Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But we've blown past it. We did 30 something yesterday, 50-ish today. Like we're in a good position right now. So
well, good.
We might make it happen.
Work. Heck yeah.
Just forge the rest of them.
Yeah.
You could try that. They like to.
Yeah, you get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
Nah, I think it's fine.
Okay, so we're on.
You just use your left hand. It looks different,
We're on our second topic of the day. We were talking about Graphene OS, and Alden has a bunch of questions about it, so we pulled up the website. But this is the story that we're going to be talking about with it. Federal agents in Atlanta stopped a guy at the airport, forced him to unlock his phone, and it self-wiped using Graphene OS's built-in duress feature. The DOJ is now charging him with destroying evidence. Yes.
Charging the phone owner?
Yeah.
The person? Oh, my God.
Yeah, and the thing that people are saying is, like, there was no evidence of a crime. They weren't accusing him of anything. They just told him to unlock his phone. And so evidence, like what evidence for what crime? What are you talking about?
First of all, I love his monochromatic like icons and everything. Is like, it's a great layout. Second of all, that's ridiculous that's a crime. And I'm changing my mind on this because that's actually a really cool feature.
Yeah, it's a great feature. You can.
I would never get the face unlock, by the way, ever in my life, ever, because they can just hold it to your face and unlock your fucking phone. I would never do it.
I turn mine off whenever I'm in Montana because of the sheriffs up here.
I wouldn't. I just would literally. I don't care. I would just put in whatever code I would have and just deal with the long version of it. I would never do the face.
I miss the thumbprint.
I still have it, and I need a new phone because my phone is like on the fritz because it's so old. This is the iPhone 6 hardware. It's the SE. It's based on the 6. It was like the 6.
That can't even be. Is that still supported?
No, most apps don't work on it. That's why Jake has to text me via regular message and not because like I can't
have
update
to send
Signal.
him letters and not even message him.
I might as well use a carrier pigeon like at this point, like, but no, because I like the home button. I don't want to change it, and so, but I'm getting to the point where I am gonna have to if I want to be a society. But
all right. So what happened was here. I'll go over the story real quick. His name is Samuel Tunick. I think Tunick. His attorney says the case should be thrown out. But basically what happened is
it's ridiculous.
He gave them the passcode to the authorities. And when they entered it into the phone, he's an Atlanta resident, by the way, flying in from out of the country. And when the authorities entered it in, it wiped his phone.
How did it know to wipe it?
Because he gave them the duress code.
There's a separate code that you punch in if you're under duress. That way it wipes it.
Clever girl.
Yes.
I like it.
And so let's see. In other words, when the U.S. Customs and Border Protection agents were about to seize Tunik's phone as he arrived back at Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson Airport in January 2025. I guess this was earlier this year, but I guess he's just being charged now. He played the particular trick on them, and the contents of the phone were instantly deleted.
But like, how is that different than just like declining to give the code? You know what I mean? Like, it's just a more hilarious version where they still don't get anything.
Yeah, it's a way better version.
So, what are the recommendations? Yeah.
The case centers on a little-known U.S. federal statute that makes it illegal to destroy property in an effort to prevent it from being seized. All right, what were you about to say, Nick?
So, I saw one recommendation on here. I don't know how good it is on this. That what you do is set the duress code to like your birthday, because that would be probably the first thing anyone tries, and then give it to them, and then have them punch it in. Then they destroyed it, but I don't know what.
So they destroyed it.
No,
they were the ones who.
But I see what Nick is saying.
Apparently,
like,
crossing the border, you don't have your rights against against. It's not like.
Yeah,
if you put it in, and if you don't tell them the code, and if they just try your birthday, that's different. You know.
Yeah, that is definitely different. And then Tunik's lawyers also filed a motion to suppress the evidence, saying he was repeatedly denied access to an attorney.
Wow.
And wasn't informed of his legal rights.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Like that.
Yeah, that's really the problem here, or at least a big problem.
Yes. And I also find it funny that I read this article earlier. I couldn't find a single thing that they were accusing him of.
Other than destroying evidence, but like, you mean the previous
crime
just
said
they're questioning for?
It just said they wanted to seize over his associations with Defend the Atlanta Forest that opposes the plans for Cop City.
So they're just against someone that's against Cop City, like.
But that's not a reason.
Yeah. So, but none of that. But right. No. None of that being associated with a group that opposes that in no way is probable cause for search and seizure, which is why they didn't have a warrant.
But if that's really their reason why they did it, that's just insane. God, I hate.
Yeah. Some quack says, how much less illegal is it to wipe the phone before you get to the airport? Great. Question.
Yeah. I mean, honestly.
Well, what it seems to that little block quote there seems to be very informative, where it says the case centers on a little known U.S. federal statute that makes it illegal to destroy property in an effort to prevent it from being seized, which is a slightly but distinctly different thing than quote destroying evidence, because it's almost like what that's saying is, well, you can't destroy something that might be evidence because we don't know if it's evidence until we seize it. It's like Obamacare. We need to seize the phone to find out what's in it. And so this is why I get a little bit uncomfortable with these like legal cases in saying something like, oh, what the cops did here was clearly illegal, because the laws allow the cops to do things that a lot of people don't really expect for them to be allowed to do. And so, if you were ever in a position where like you were being hassled by the cops and the cops tell you to do something and you just confidently said, I know for a fact that's illegal, you might be wrong, because the law just might let the cops do something crazy. But this is why I said earlier, the hugely important thing, in my opinion here, is that he was denied any access to a lawyer to tell him what he is and is not required to do.
That's the biggest thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
If you weren't read your rights, if you weren't allowed a lawyer, that's the biggest thing.
Nick, check the private chat when you can. Yeah. And some quack says, and yet we're exempt from self-incrimination, which is an interesting, that is interesting. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think about that, because evidence, I'm not sure is a self-incriminating thing. I think self-incriminating implies your speech or your confession, right?
Is this like when they say like anything you say can and will be, like, and you can plead the fifth and all that, and like, so you don't incriminate yourself?
Yeah.
But that's more verbal than evidence, like, right? Like, incriminating yourself doesn't involve someone discovering something about you via evidence. I don't think.
Yeah, I agree more with what cheddar cheese. So the cops destroyed evidence and an individual's legal property.
Yeah, see, they honestly, that'd be a clever turnaround. Like,
is have the regular unlock code and the distress code only be 1 digit off, and then say that you gave them the distress code on accident,
or that they're dumb thumbed it. If it was 1 digit off, if you did something that was like 6 and 9 that were close on the keypad, you can just be like, hey, I don't know, maybe they just like, I gave them the correct code, and they might have touched the 6 instead.
They're going to be recording that though.
Oh wow, all right.
Or what I would do if I was Graphene is I would let the duress code unlock the phone for like a minute, and then while they're scrolling around in there, after about a minute of like scrolling through or whatever. Then throw an error and brick the thing, and then wipe the
so
thing.
It looked like it worked.
Yeah,
but a minute's a long time, actually. Though.
A minute's a long time. I would do it less.
12 seconds.
That's fine.
Yeah,
the concept is there.
Yeah.
Is there. That's pretty solid. Oh,
as
you broke my phone, man. Why'd you do that?
Like as soon as you get into anything that could, like opening an app or something like that could reveal like
any information, then it would throw the error. That way it looks like, it would be impossible to prove what you did or didn't do at that point.
Right. Not time based, but like as soon as it accesses anything with any personal information, it's like brick. Yeah.
Well, if this was a feature of Graphene OS, I feel like the feds would like find out about this.
Could you prove it though? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that would be the thing, is could you prove that what you did was that, or you have, this is some sort of generic error code that
like
maybe you, the individual, could set the apps that are like that would qualify, and so everyone's would be a little different. And so if people's phones would just be bricking on different apps, I don't know. Like it's just.
I guess what I'm saying is that if you think you're going to come up with some cute little loophole to prevent the feds from being able to charge you with something, I think you're mistaken.
Well, they're going to charge you, but like, will it stick is different. Yeah, they're going to charge you with all kinds of shit.
Give them a code where it opens in safe mode, where no apps.
It opens up a guest account.
Yeah,
that could work too.
You're like, have fun, like on my guest account where there's nothing.
Yeah, and then it just shows 0 apps in there, and you're like, well, that's
call mom. That's the only person I have.
You can't prove that I had any apps on this phone.
Yeah. You see. I just have this generic phone, which
actually that is a feature of certain phones. There are, I forget what phone it is.
It's like a computer login kind of a thing, right?
But it's it's partitioned, and so you can open it up where you can see the full everything that's on the phone, or just one side of the phone.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I really like that concept. I'm so deep in the Apple OS that it's gonna be hard for me to switch away.
That's me too. Yeah.
I think in a few years I'll be able to, but I can't wrap my head around that at the moment. Let's see. Petter says, what if he thought the feature was meant to notify authorities and help them? Simple mistake, right? Interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, it's a fascinating case, and it seems like it's one of the first of its kind. And I'm interested to see.
I've never heard of that.
I also think it's absolutely insane that their original thing was about Cop City and who he talked to.
Ridiculous.
What are you talking about?
That's not a good look.
Those protesters did basically nothing, were unsuccessful in what they did. We tried to help them out, help out the cause in the hearings and everything, and it still went through and everything's fine, and no cops were injured or I don't understand the obsession with. Actually, no, I do understand it. There's an obsession with trying to keep people in line and question and reprimand those who have
it's anyone that goes against their agenda.
The unhinged person who cut down the block camera.
Yeah.
We're spending resources trying to figure this out. Not that big a deal. It's a metal pole. They didn't destroy the camera itself.
I was going to say the camera, honestly, I was going to talk about that before, where it's literally all you have to do is weld it back on.
Well, dude, I think there's a legal thing with that, and I only know this because I have been to jail.
I only know this because oh god.
There, at a certain point, the dollar figure becomes a misdemeanor B, a C, and then felony. And so I think if you just destroy the pole, which probably costs $45,
yeah,
you're below the limit of a felony, but you're just in misdemeanor range.
Yeah.
And so I think that
it's the
good
shot
strategy.
Across the bow where like it's like you still show the same intent, like you still are like, hey, fuck this camera, you know. But then you're like, but if I got caught, it's $50. Like,
there's another guy out there with the flock cameras. He sets up a camping chair right next to the flock camera and just holds his pool skimmer up at flock camera height, so the camera can't see anything. And the cops have tried to arrest him, but he's like, I'm just sitting here on public property holding my pool skimmer.
The same reason this camera could be here, I'm here. Hey, fair enough. Like if you want to spend your whole retirement doing that, then like, I mean, good on you. I don't know.
Hey, he's not damaging anything. There's absolutely nothing you can do about someone just blocking that.
Nope.
That's hilarious. Fantastic. Good on him. We need more people like that. Actually, that's actually
honestly, Banished Big Brother. This is a good idea for y'all. You need to recruit all of the retirees,
retired pool skimmer holders,
to just go sit next to flock cameras and hold things.
But the boomers are everyone who wants these.
Not all of them. Not all of them. There are some. You just need to go. You just need to dig deep and find the ones who are.
How old is the guy that was doing this with the pool skimmer?
He was in his 50s.
He's got to be retired, right? If you can just sit and in a chair all day, like.
He looked in his 50s, but he could be in his 60s.
I feel like you've got to be retired.
We were petitioning an event last weekend and found the one person who was in favor of flock cameras.
Oh my gosh.
They tried to use that as a pitch. They tried to use that as a pitch on one guy. I don't know. They tried to use that as a pitch on one guy, and the guy apparently liked flock cameras.
Well, have fun with that. I don't know.
It's like a pretty universal, safe thing that we can say and get people on board. And
I feel like almost everyone knows they suck. Like,
yeah.
That's why I was like, do you sell them? Like, why? What is your benefit with the? I don't know.
I don't know, but
that's wild.
All right, before we move on, y'all, I forgot to mention this at the top of the show. Trivia will happen after this show on a completely separate stream. So be sure to tune into trivia once this show ends. That's why you don't see it on the right-hand side. This will be the regular format from here on out. Trivia will start at 10 p.m. Eastern, go for about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how rowdy everybody gets. And
an hour of trivia? Is that how long it normally goes?
It's like 40 minutes.
There have been times where it's gone for 55 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
It's because we won't shut up because somebody gets pretty drunk.
Do you mean me?
No, I've done it before too.
Oh, okay. I thought
I've probably done it too.
Reason a couple of times.
Okay.
No, it's not just you.
Yeah, we did this a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
what was that?
We did this a couple of weeks ago as a first trial. So
heck yeah,
we're just cutting over and doing it more so that we can get a little bit like after show and have a little bit more fun off topic there.
Yeah. And I like being like the second half of this show, which we're going to get to in just a second, is going to be a more philosophical and theoretical conversation based around speech, free speech, and consequences of that speech. So we're going to get to that here.
I thought it was all about the movie Shiloh.
And maybe.
Speaking of trivia, Jake, did you happen to see who won last week?
I have not watched it yet. Who won last week?
That would be me.
Who? Wait. Zach made or did I make trivia? Oh, I made it super easy in one round, didn't I? So
speaking of that, actually,
hang on. I will admit, Grok designed that entire slideshow. I didn't have time to do anything.
Yeah,
and then I changed a couple things to make it not so stupid.
We could tell.
At least Zane makes his own haikus.
One of our questions, did we just skip because it was so dumb or something?
What president was in command when Watergate happened?
Yeah, yeah, and we were already all talking about Nixon because that was like the section name or whatever.
I forgot to change those answers, and as soon as the show started, I looked at my wife and I was like, I forgot to change.
Yeah,
round 2 of trivia.
we have a section on Nixon, and the answer for this one is Nixon, and it's obvious. Like,
dude, that was so embarrassing.
I will say, I looked up, and apparently Van Gogh was a post-impressionist, not an impressionist. I'm an idiot. I've said this before about myself. I'm a poor art historian or whatever, and that stands all the more today. But yeah, fact checked. Alden's wrong.
All right.
Van Gogh.
Well, on that note, let's move. I love that Alden's wrong. Let's move on.
Yeah.
I am not fucking drunk.
Well, my teeth are blue.
Every pretty girl deserves to go to a ball.
This is everything about it's a clam. I love it.
I gotta be honest with you, I feel like I'm a little bit too drunk to stand up.
On Wiedersehen, asshole.
I'm drunk right now.
Oh, yeah. All right, y'all. Welcome to Drunkard of the Week, the part of the show where we show somebody saying or doing something that can only be explained if they're drunk, but they're not. You can submit your own nominations. Or if they're unhinged, sure. You can submit your own nominations via X by tagging us at Liberty Libation or hashtag Drunkard of the Week, or by joining the Discord and nominating folks in the Discord. You can do that in the summary below the episode. We have a link to our Discord, so go check that out. I forgot to change. There you go, Alden. Was that better?
I saw that, yeah.
Saw it? Okay.
Did you see my eyes go over there?
All right, y'all.
Bam.
This week, here's your drunkard.
Stumpin'. What day of the week is it today?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color tie are you wearing?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color's the carpet in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Let's just get one thing straight. You don't have any rights under the Fifth Amendment because you've been pardoned, as you very well know. As the Supreme Court has been clear for a century and more, Brown versus Walker, 1896, when he has been pardoned, he may not stand upon his privilege. You know that. Your lawyer is sitting behind you now, shifting nervously in their chairs. They know it. This isn't about the Constitution. This isn't about the law. This is about contempt. Contempt for this body and contempt for the American people.
I'm not as think as you drunk I am.
Oh, it's so good to have Anthony Fauci back in our lives after 5 years. Great to see him on camera again.
I'll say, what a, as like ridiculous as he was here with that, like, back when he was constantly talking and I'm the science and just, going up on Capitol Hill and just, everyone's just buying into everything he had to say, to see him have to sit there and just repeat that over and over and over again because he knows that he is no longer in friendly territory is a relief.
Yeah. I do have to say, I think there is some value into drawing him up there for the sole purpose of being publicly humiliated.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I completely
why so
agree.
many people liked him for so long. It was weird, actually.
It's because he's dude, it's the Sam Harris effect. I'm telling you, there's something to this where you speak calmly and slowly, because that's what he does. And he has an accent, and I don't know. There's something about him being short that makes him cute to people or something. I don't know what it is.
No, I don't think there's a Hobbit effect going on here.
No, there's definitely a Hobbit effect. He talks and moves like a friggin' Hobbit.
He gives me the creeps, honestly, but never mind. Whatever.
Fair enough. We're gonna watch a couple more clips of Fauci.
Great.
Yeah, Fauci testifies.
Does he just say the same thing the whole fucking time?
No. We're gonna watch some old clips because I want to remind people what Fauci did. I want to remind people exactly what he was saying during.
Why he belongs?
Are we just talking about
why
COVID?
he belongs in Gitmo?
Yeah, we're just talking COVID times right now, because that's when he was famous. That's when he was the star of the show.
Because he's had a long history of some bullshit with like the HIV and AIDS research.
We're not getting into any of that because that's not the topics for tonight. I mean, if you want to look,
this is just about COVID. Then okay,
go read The Real Anthony Fauci by Robert F. Kennedy, like that.
Yeah,
phenomenal book.
Agreed.
Really dense, takes a long time to get through, but good book.
He's a piece of shit.
Yes, 100%. All right, here's a couple more clips of Fauci.
I respectfully decline to answer. Under the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer. I respectfully decline to answer.
I'm going to give you one more opportunity to comply with the law. At any point between January 1st, 2014 and January 19th, 2025, did you destroy any federal record or tell anyone else to?
Under the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth.
All right, so that goes
Same
on
thing every time.
The entire thing. He said it over 100 times. At one point, his lawyer gets up and crosses a barrier that he was not supposed to cross, and this is what happened.
Attorneys are not recognized. In fact, the attorney was told not to sit at the table, and he's not obeying that recommendation. There's a row behind you, sir. That's where you were told to sit, and you're not. And now you're disrupting the proceedings. And so, look, this is the way Anthony Fauci wants to be remembered. For a lawyer not listening to the rules. That's the way you want to be remembered, and that's what you're going to do. You are not.
I hate this guy's face.
Security, please remove him from the room.
Better cheese. I would have started asking questions like, "Why are you gay? Does your mom know you're gay?"
That's what I said. Does your mom know you're gay? That's exactly what I said.
Oh, it's so good.
We think alike.
They literally wait for this lawyer to slowly pack up his ridiculously huge, hilariously
just
huge.
The whole press is just right there, snapping pictures. Capitol Police right
Let
there.
the record state that Dr. Fauci will still have the advice of the other half a dozen attorneys that he brought along today.
Motherfucker.
And then my favorite is this one from the hearing.
Those policies were put in place because you had moronic politicians who listened to the words of a megalomaniac who was more interested in having met a Kardashian than the suffering of the American people. And that is you. Your advice to communities like that, to idiotic politicians who enforce those rules, arrested that mom for watching a football game with her own family outside. When that story broke, I said to myself, I cannot stand idly on the side and watch this happen. It was about 6 years ago today that I decided I'm going to give up my businesses, sell them all, run for office, run for the United States Senate. Here I am sitting in front of you 6 years later saying, who the fuck do you think you were for doing that? It is a total disgrace what you did to this country. And if my Democrats...
So good. Like
what a line of questioning there, right? I don't even know if it's questioning or just lecturing him or
less
what,
question,
but you know,
so usually I find grandstanding like that during committee hearings a little bit annoying. But if there's one issue of my lifetime that deserves 5 hours of politicians grandstanding, it's talking to Anthony Fauci about his COVID-19 response.
Fair enough, dude. Yeah. Fair enough. I agree.
I mean, a tasteful drop of an F-bomb in there. I mean, and Fauci just has to sit, and Fauci just has to sit there and take it.
Yeah.
I mean, oh god, like I said, I mean, you said you were going to play clips from back in the day there, but
I'm about to. Sorry.
I love this just because
I just want the contrast between this and that.
Yeah.
So many people were just sucking Fauci's balls for years. Just with I genuinely didn't understand.
You gotta get your
Fauci
ouchie. You gotta get it.
I didn't get it. I didn't understand it, and now I just love seeing him squirm. Even if nothing comes of it, even if he doesn't even get a slap on the wrist, if it just whatever, it's just I love seeing him squirm in front of him.
Dude, it's wild. My mother-in-law is going through some treatments right now for some stuff, and one of the first things her doctor asked her was, did you get vaccinated and boosted? Mm-hmm. And she said yes, told him how many times. And so there's a specific protocol that you have to go through in order to try to wipe all of that out of your system. And it's not easy, and it ain't cheap.
Yeah.
And it's wild. We're gonna get to those clips that I mentioned a little bit ago. But it's extremely unfortunate that so many
What's the official protocol? Do you know what because I've looked into this a little bit, but
I don't remember. I can get that from Nikki.
I was gonna say if you have access to it, let me know what the official recommendation is, because I've seen what what is it?
It's a homeopathic doctor who specializes in
I've seen a couple of different people talk about it with trying to kind of flush out something that bonds to the spike proteins and pull them out.
Binds to the spike protein.
Yeah.
The main thing.
So it might be a similar protocol, but I was curious what the quote unquote now official thing is. I was on this years ago with looking the underground weird doctors that were banned from Instagram or whatever that were talking about it, and now there's a medical fucking protocol for it.
Yeah,
it's so fucking annoying that people were getting literally silenced and banned and shadow banned for talking about it, and now there's a medical fucking procedure for it.
Yep.
Well, to even suggest that the vaccines were not 100% safe and effective, doctors could lose their license for saying that.
Yeah.
Well,
we got YouTube.
I guess
it's just as bad as losing your doctor's license. Now here we're gonna get to one short clip, one long of Fauci back from COVID times.
You're really attacking not only Dr. Anthony Fauci, you're attacking science. Science and the truth are being attacked.
Under the advice of my attorneys, I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your questions.
Goodness gracious.
What a fucker.
And then here is, we're not going to watch all 9 minutes of this. We'll watch a couple minutes because it's excruciating.
Play 9 minutes. I'll go make a drink.
We know exactly what we can do and what we should be doing.
Please wear a mask.
There's no reason to be walking around with a mask.
I often myself there's an email from you concluding I do not recommend that you wear a mask.
Everybody should be wearing a mask when they're outside. You should not be walking around with masks. I wear a mask when I'm outside.
You don't need a mask when you're outside.
Wear a mask at all times when you're outside.
So even if you are vaccinated, you should wear a mask.
If you are vaccinated, you do not need to wear a mask.
Dr. Fauci, thank you for your clarity.
If you wear masks, you can decrease the likelihood of transmitting or acquiring COVID-19 by 50, 60, 70, maybe 80%.
I said masks work at the margins, maybe 10%.
Oh my God, maybe 10%.
You're a master communicator.
Wear a mask all the time, consistently. When you're outside,
it's not like I always wear one.
Always wear a mask.
We do not recommend people wearing masks.
Children should still wear masks.
At least one mask.
You don't need to be walking around with a mask.
Absolutely. We should have universal wearing of masks.
Mandating masks, yes, let's do it. If it doesn't happen nationally, then I think that the mayors and the governors should do it.
Mask mandates did nothing.
Forget the politics. Look at the data.
Mask mandate states fared no better than states without mask mandates.
In hindsight, though, when you look at this, do you think the mask mandates were a mistake?
You know, Caitlin, I don't want to say a mistake, but I think we really need to remember.
This high school student ended up in handcuffs after she refused to wear a mask.
Wear a mask.
A man was removed from a SEPTA bus for not wearing a mask.
Just wear a mask.
Ohio woman tased after refusing to wear a mask.
Wear your mask.
Not wearing a mask. This is what
Hey, dude, Make sure you have a mask.
Where's your mask at?
Wear a mask.
Get your hand up now.
Follow the science.
The officer body slamming a woman when she refused to wear a mask.
Based purely on the science.
They were yanked out of a school board meeting after refusing to wear masks.
Wear a mask.
She's in jail over a dispute on whether or not to wear masks.
Wear a mask.
She was walking without a mask.
Everybody should wear a mask.
She was told to wear a mask but refused.
Gotta wear a mask.
And a mother is arrested in front of her young child.
You should be wearing a mask.
Do you wear a mask when you're not on television?
Well, you know, my life is pretty different. I can say as a public health official that I would urge the leaders, the local political and other leaders in states and cities and towns to be as forceful as possible in getting your citizenry to wear masks. Be as forceful as possible.
Y'all want to keep playing this? It's interesting.
No,
as much as I love it, I think we need to start producing our own content again.
All right, fair enough.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, going back to the first clip that we played of like Dr. Fauci saying, you know, if you criticize me, you're criticizing all of science
and the truth,
and the fact that he has now met with this well-deserved fate, I think is maybe symbolic of a more general tendency of society of like rejecting scientism and maybe some elements of modernity more generally. So like one of the core ideas of like modern society is that we can solve all of our problems through greater scientific understanding. Right. And not to like overly philosophize it, but it does seem like over the past couple of years in not just my circles, but I feel like other, you know, pockets of society as well, that assumption has come under more and more critique about, you know, maybe there are some immaterial things about life that we need to understand in order to live a good human life that's outside of just material scientific understanding. I mean, you literally had JD Vance go on Rogan a couple weeks ago, and not to get into all the rest of what he said, but he and Joe Rogan spent like a full half hour of the show talking about angels and demons. And it's like, this is the vice president of the United States, and I just don't think this is something that would have happened in the absence of the scientific establishment just completely showing how bereft they are of true knowledge.
Yeah, you could absolutely be right about that, man. That was a very interesting conversation between those.
I didn't see that.
Go watch it, Alden. A lot of it'll make you angry, but some of it is.
I'm sure. Yeah.
And yeah, Zane, you're right, man. Like there was something. Look, it's not the first time in human history that civilization has thought they've figured things out, you know, and know what the proper processes are in order to make life better. Like there was the Age of Enlightenment where they all thought, you know, flat Earth theory was the agreed upon thing at a certain point in time, and
that's coming back, you know.
The extent to which people ever believe that the Earth was flat has been greatly overstated by people who are interested are interested in calling medieval Christians really stupid.
Correct. Okay, what I meant was Earth, center of the universe.
What about? Yes, I was going to say
that's
versus
what
the
I was
heliocentric model. Yeah,
I'm so used to citing flat Earth theory that I forgot.
I mean, but you could go even further, right? You talk about like the whole Younger Dryas, like the collapse of Greek civilization. You had like Homer writing the Odyssey in the ruins of the previous Greek civilization that they just couldn't recreate at that point anymore, right? Like, we've seen collapse, we've seen destruction.
I think Zane touched on it, and I think it's just a thing where like the era we currently live in is probably the most scientific era that in recorded history that we can cite, and it doesn't solve any problems like in the long term. It doesn't solve everything. It people are still fallible. People still have the same pitfalls that they've had for millennia. Like
I would throw out there, it depends on your definition of science, and it depends on like what goals you have. And like there's things about past civilizations that they were able to do that we fucking don't understand how they even fucking did. And I find that interesting. And the question of like, were people, I don't know, happier today versus then? That's an interesting sort of a cross-section discussion or whatever there, but
yeah, we
can
get into that at some point, but I don't think let's not go there.
Okay, whatever. Fine.
Because I think that should be a standalone episode. Because I think.
Fair enough. Yeah, because too much there.
The idea of happiness, versus a couple other things might be a very interesting episode.
Yeah. I had one thing to say on
go ahead
before we get too far from the Fauci thing.
No, we're sticking with the Fauci thing.
Okay. Because I had a thing before. I'm like, it's already starting to like fade what he said at the end. I wrote down a couple of notes, but he at the last clip of him talking, he was saying something about like, what was it like? You should, forcibly, like as many of you that can, like go out there and enforce the fucking mask thing. He was basically telling people to go fight your neighbor on this shit if you disagree, if you see someone without a mask or whatever. How is that not the J6 thing? Like, how is that not like held in the same regard as like when people say the very, very, and I'm no Trump fan, but the very, very loose, vague, like things that Trump said that people are like, oh, he was inciting a riot or whatever. And I'm like, fucking Fauci was telling people to basically go out into the streets and fight people that aren't wearing a fucking mask. Are you fucking kidding me? Like that's over nothing. Like that drives me insane.
Well, during the Summer of Love as well, you had compilations of Democrat politicians telling people in so many words to go out into the street and riot. And yet nobody ever got upset about that.
It was 2020. Summer of Love.
2020 is the Summer of Love. Okay,
post George Floyd.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know that
all the fiery but mostly peaceful protests.
Do you want to know what I think of as the Summer of Love? In the like 90s, it was a term that was assigned to when what was it? All of the different, I think it was the internet, when they were like laying out the internet like grid, and they basically like all these different like corporations got together and divided it amongst themselves and agreed, so that there was like this false idea of competition, but it was really just this oligopoly that was happening. And they basically just like were like, nope, we're gonna do this and we're gonna charge what we want. And like, so the Summer of Love was like when all these companies got together and just decided amongst themselves what they were going to charge for things. And that's what I think of as the Summer of Love, even though I'm not saying that's like the number one. I didn't even realize that there was this applied to 2020 at all.
Well, of course, the original Summer of Love was like what, 1969 with all the
right, but
But like 2020 2020 has been called the Summer of Love.
But in terms of like a political thing since then, that's being coined it again or recoined, but anyway, but of course.
My favorite thing was when, so like post George Floyd, when you had all the riots, this like big group of public health officials came out with a statement that was like, protesting racism is so important that we're not going to condemn people taking to the streets without a mask, but this should not be taken as an endorsement for going out to protest other things, such as mask mandates.
Yeah, I would very much like to see those politicians' rankings on what is important enough to go and protest without a mask. Like I'm so interested in what they have to say about that, because the idea that general racism of a cop that killed a guy, that's somehow worth everybody getting sick and dying over after you've been telling people to stay in their homes and wear a mask and get vaccinated and all these things.
There's no thing. If there's a thing that's worth it, then the masks aren't important. You know what I mean? Like they compete with each other. It doesn't make sense. Like if you're saying, oh, but we need to fight for the value of one life, but masks save millions of lives, then no, then it doesn't. If there's any actual credence to the fucking argument, then it makes no sense. But of course, there is no goddamn credence to the argument. So
yeah,
that's all. Doesn't matter. But anyway, it just.
So Trump was asked about Fauci yesterday or the day before, I can't remember. And his pardon, and here's what he had to say.
Well, the only thing you can really think about is the auto pen, because the most powerful thing the president has, they say, is the power of pardon. So he was pardoned by Biden, and I respect that. I know how powerful it is. It's a very powerful. They say it's literally the most powerful thing a president has. Now, whether or not I sign my things directly. Almost everything I signed directly. You're witness to many of them.
Almost everything.
He signed very few. The only thing I know that he signed was Hunter Biden's pardon, but I'm not sure that he signed. He probably didn't sign this one. So I can't tell you what the law is. I've heard that you have to have a lot of proof. You need to have letters. You need to have all sorts of things that the person operating the auto pen has to know exactly what it's all about. He didn't know what it was about because I saw him testify. So maybe there's something on the auto pen. Other than that, the power of pardon is very powerful.
I mean, how are people still a fan of this idiot? It's
fucking Taco. This is another fucking Taco.
Wild.
Didn't you vote for him?
I voted for him. That didn't make me
voted
a fan
for
of him. I voted for people who I friggin' despise, but it's because they were going to do one thing, and that's exactly why I voted for him on this particular thing.
We did get what we were promised on that. Ross did get actually he only promised to commute Ross's sentence, and Ross got a full pardon. So
yeah, which was
above
and beyond. Thoroughly enjoyed that. But okay, so my thing with this is somebody asked him about the auto pinning. Like Biden used auto pin to sign a bunch of pardons, and whether or not that is that will hold up in a court of law. And so Trump basically just said he thinks he may have auto-pinned it, but it doesn't matter because a pardon is the most important thing that a president can do. And so I'm not going to
auto-pinning.
I'm going to respect it. It's after if you go back and remember what actually happened during COVID, Trump put out Anthony Fauci in charge of the whole dadgum thing.
Yeah, I know. That's why I didn't understand why a bunch of leftists supported him for the longest time. I would have genuinely thought that they would have had pushback on it.
This is why I didn't vote in 2020, right? I was so pissed off that I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. I didn't vote in 2020.
I haven't voted since 2016.
Yeah, I didn't vote in 2020.
I
voted for Kanye in 2020. But
the auto penning thing was so obvious to me for so long with Biden because he was just fucking losing his marbles, and it reminds me of like in the Two Towers, the Lord of the Rings, where King Theoden is just a senile puppet that's lost his mind, and he's just Saruman's puppet. And he's like, oh, but this order, like Wormtongue is like, this order doesn't come from me. It comes from the king. He signed it this morning. And his signature is like, ugh! Like it's just this line across the page where he can barely hold his hand. Like, and so they were like, instead of that, we'll do auto penning. Like, so we don't have, because we don't want to see what Biden doesn't know how to spell his own fucking name.
Look, I'm sorry. In no civilization should auto penning be a legit
for the president
signing a pardon for a crime.
What's more important? It's like the highest office of the land, and we're gonna be like, do the fucking AI pen thing. That's fine, whatever. Like
that's an insane thing. To accept?
Are you filling out a form for an apartment and you have to put your initials on 300 lines for a fucking apartment that's in the ghetto? Like auto pen, fine. Who cares? The fucking president. That's not the same thing.
No.
Jesus
Sign your
Christ.
dadgum pardon with your own dadgum hand.
I think it's literally hiding that he couldn't even write his fucking name at this point.
I think the major concern is not that, like, I think people would stop being so upset about it if he was using the auto pen, but only because he had 500 things he had to sign every day, and it would take too long. As long as he was
500 brain
as
cells.
long as he was aware of what his signature was being applied to. Like it's legitimately the case that we don't even know if Biden knew what he was signing. Which, if you believe in the constitutional system of the president being the one who has these powers, and not people who weren't elected that just happen to be around the president having those powers, that's the problem.
Yeah, I think that's the important distinction, right? It's not the fact that you put your hand on a pen to paper. It's about the intention behind it, and we know how gone Biden was and how much like he's lost his marbles. And I mean, I think that's proven by the fact that that dude's been completely silent, and now his son's out making podcasts with Nick Fuentes.
It's wild.
But yeah, I think right. It's the intention of, did you mean to pardon this person? Did you mean this? With your full knowledge and capacity, was this what was intended? And we don't know that because we don't. We know. What's his name? Tony, whatever, and why am I blanking? No, not Soprano. I'm trying to.
Shalhoub.
And Jake, whatever, we're running. Jake Sullivan and Tony, whoever. We're like basically running that administration, and Joe Biden was more or less like a puppet weekend at Bernie's by the end there.
Yeah. I mean,
we
the
can't
weird thing
prove
about
it.
Fauci's pardon is that it was specifically from 2014 to 2025.
Yeah, it's funny when they give you the just this window,
just those dates.
Yeah,
like 2014. Why 2014?
That would only matter if you were doing the gain of function research already in China. Oh, whoops, that's been fucking. I feel like is that how widely accepted is that as a thing, or am I just fucking?
I think this is widely accepted now.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Like as the believer in things that are widely accepted, I can confidently say that the U.S. was funding gain of function.
No, I need to ask because I'm so up my own ass with these weird theories that like years ago I was just like, that's a fact, but everyone else was like, nope, that's wrong. And then today apparently it's a fact. Okay, so I have to ask.
Cheddar She says Wilson's wife was his auto pen after he became a stroke vegetable. We used to be a proper country.
Let's not get into Woodrow Wilson. We'll lose.
Can't get so the reason that we're talking about Fauci so much today, one, he had the hearing this week and testified.
He also has the new gin that you should try.
But I wanted to talk about like the idea of speech and consequences and the amount of people that were legitimately harmed, I think is incalculable. Like I don't think that you can put a dollar figure on the amount of pain and suffering that Anthony Fauci's words have caused not only people in the United States, but around the world. And it's a very famous photo, and I'm just gonna show it.
Can we also just be clear
somebody hang on, Alden.
Sorry. I didn't realize we were going
a family member had died. The family wasn't able to be in the room because of the COVID mandates and regulations. And so the nurses put up, "He is at peace. We are so sorry," on the window. And this has become a pretty famous photo because of how insane this time period was.
When people weren't allowed to visit their own,
as they were dying. As they were dying.
And believe me, I as this kind of stuff started to come out during that time, I in my mind, came up with, okay, what am I willing to do in that? And I'm not going to say it here, but like, you know, the you have to wait outside while your loved one dies
No, I wouldn't do
alone.
that. No.
I have a pretty good. I had a pretty high bar of what I was willing to do.
I agree, and I wasn't
I
in
made
that
peace with that
position,
in my
thankfully,
mind.
but
I was not in that position either.
But I'm with you,
And
man.
so,
I would have been nope. Like you're gonna have to take me to jail for one reason or another. Like it's either a fight or a death, but this is not going to go well at fucking all. Like I absolutely, I literally don't give a shit. There was nothing that was going to keep me. I'd be like, I'm taking grandma out of here. If they're literally dying, we're going. Like I'm going to go die somewhere else. Like that's not. It's not happening. Like
well, Jake, that shit. You said the damage that Fauci did is incalculable, but I think that one way of calculating it is to say that he damaged every single person on the entire Earth. So
you can calculate it and quantify the number of souls, but then how do you measure the damage to the soul? But right.
Well, I mean you can look at
lockdown. Lockdown was so drastically different from anything that had ever been experienced in modern society before. That like for 100 years we won't know all of its consequences.
I mean, it's every little thing, right? Like when COVID started, I was living in Texas, and you know, I was working in the oil industry, and
you were an oil man in Texas.
I was a Texas oil man at the time, right? And
so billionaire, y'all. I don't know if y'all
did you abandon your child?
And so I was you know, it was what was it? It was about I left Texas on I think May 1st or 2nd. I think it was May 1st because it was like I had been in Texas exactly a year from the time I left to go to Georgia, and I had about a month. So it was like the end of March. I got a phone call saying, "Hey, you need to move to take this job in Atlanta." And that's how I met you guys. So I mean, it's not all bad, right? but like I went to Texas in mind with what I was doing there, what was going to happen, and sort of generally a career path from there, because it was like go here to Texas, and like eventually we want to get you here, and then we'll see what you know. And that kind of shook everything up, right? It was like, hey, you know, I got a phone call, and all it was like, and I tried to push for more, but you know, you get a phone call saying, hey, you need to move. You kind of spend a little bit of time like trying to figure out what exactly this is about, right? You get a phone, the guy who moved me to Texas calls me one day out of the blue and says, hey, I've got a job in Atlanta that I think you should take. And you are like, well, I'm here and I'm doing this. And then you start really thinking and going, he's not calling me for no reason, right? There's a reason to move. And so, you know, the last week I was in Texas, we laid a whole bunch of people off. And then, like I said, I left in May, and by September, they sold the whole group I was in off. So like, okay, you know, good looks there. I picked up on the keys, and I took, I chose to keep being employed. And then I got to Georgia. And by the time I got to Georgia, I mean, I don't even think masks were mandated at that point by May 1st. Like restaurants had opened up again. Like gyms were open. Gyms were still closed in Texas when I got there. No. I'm just making a point of like what I went through, because I injured my back because I hadn't gotten to the gym and worked out. And the only thing that was open in Texas was the gun ranges. And we went to the gun range and we're shooting for a couple hours because that was like the only thing to do, because everything else was closed. But Second Amendment right says you have to be able to shoot still. So we were shooting we went to the gun range and just standing on the concrete. I woke up the next morning and my back was all messed up, but got to Georgia. The gyms were open. The mask mandates from what I remember, weren't in effect yet. And so I was going around like normal. Then the mask mandates came into effect. And then I did everything I could to avoid those. And, you know, I got to Georgia, and where I worked, they were like, okay, you're new, so you need to be in the office every day, and we're just going to start bringing everyone back into the office. We're going to rotate like half and half, but you'll be here every day so you can get up to speed with everything. And, you know, at the most point, I was after about 6 weeks of being there, like I was working 3 days a week from home. That felt like too much, maybe, but I was doing about 2 days a week from home for a while, and then we had a cyber attack, and then I was back in the office 4 days a week. But I never experienced COVID the way most people did, I guess.
Well, I have a very distinct memory of going out to eat at a restaurant in early May 2020.
Yeah.
And like I always think back on that moment of like how lucky I am compared to all the other 7.5 billion people on planet Earth. Because of all the places on Earth to be during COVID, it's like South Dakota is number 1, Georgia is number 2, and then like Sweden is number 3.
Is Florida number 4?
No, that was I mean, Florida came a little bit later.
Florida,
but no, like
even if the whole world had mask mandates and was locked down, Florida still wouldn't be a good place to go live.
No, it's not a good place to live, but is it a good place to visit? Wow.
That's going
Don't live there. Like, I've lived there. It's terrible. But
do you guys remember, while we're reminiscing about how crazy things were, do you guys remember that New York was saying that they were not going to let people from Florida come to New York because Florida didn't have mask mandates or whatever?
I don't remember that. That's funny.
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear that.
Okay,
but like
New York
let's
was
get back
crazy.
on track. Let's get back on track.
Well, last thing here. But I just, in this reminiscing thing, I got that phone call and I thought about, the first thing I did was like, I called my parents and I'm like, okay, I know I just moved to Texas, but what do you think about moving to Georgia? My parents have been watching the news and they're like, Georgia right now, it seems dangerous. And I'm like, well, I mean, it seems like my option right now. I just got this phone call. And yeah, I mean, I literally
Georgia
packed
or
up and
Atlanta?
moved. Well, I mean, I was Atlanta, I was Sandy Springs, but yeah, it was just one of those things that it was just, I don't know, I guess somewhat a defining moment, because moving to Georgia at that moment meant, because when I was in Texas doing the oil stuff, like I was in the office every day. Like when this first came out, it was nothing, and then like Crane, Texas, which was about 40 minutes away, got a case, and the guys who lived down there said that it was locked, that the town was locked down. They were checking people in and out for who lived there, whatever, like some sort of crazy overreaction. And then in my mind I had a little bit of like a panic attack the one night, sort of like worried on this, and then like I came to peace with like pretty quickly that night with like, okay, well, whatever fucking happens here, like there's nothing going on. And I just kept soldiering on. I went to work every day. The day came, picked up, moved to Georgia, and then I got to Georgia and it was like, okay, the gyms are open, let's start going back to the gym. I'm going to the office every day, and I just like lived as normally as possible, as much as like being transplanted from living in Pittsburgh my whole life to spending a year in Texas, just out of like, okay, I'm gonna go to Texas and maybe I just end up staying there because that was kind of the plan. So like, okay, I've been to Georgia, and the only thing I know about Georgia is I passed through the airport one time.
We get it, you're from Pittsburgh.
That is true.
Yo,
I'm just putting out there, like, if you want to measure effects, like that sort of detour is something wild. But I mean, it ended with this show and you guys. So is it all bad? No.
Look, humans can make the best of any situation. That doesn't mean the situation should have happened or is justifiable in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
and the point that I'm trying to make is that the words of Anthony Fauci and the things that he promoted for those 2 years of COVID happening affected, as Zane said, every single human being on Earth.
Yeah.
And it affected the vast majority of them in a very negative way, a lot of which cannot be calculated in monetary form. It's a ton of pain and suffering is what he has caused the world. And in doing so, he will not face a single consequence.
I do want to, I'm not pushing back because I agree
wholeheartedly,
but I want to add that he's just the face. He's just the spokesperson. He's really seriously just one man. You think he came up with all of this? Like I just want to say no. This isn't for you.
I know what. Look, I'm not going into the background stuff. I don't care. I don't give a shit about that right now. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about he chose to say those words.
No. As a man, he deserves a sentence of some kind. Like, I agree wholeheartedly. But I also want to just highlight that, like, there's an entire system that supported this.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah. I know you do. I know. Yeah.
But we're not here today to talk about that side of things. I literally
it's just a reminder of I don't want people, because sometimes when things, this is like the one man fall on the sword kind of thing when we get these hearings and when we get these national attention things, and I just don't want people to forget. Yes, fuck Fauci. He's an asshole. He's a piece of shit, and he deserves the worst. Like, I can't stand him. Even prior, like we were talking about the book, that Junior wrote or whatever, and like just all his shit with the HIV and AIDS research, and that he's just playing it for money, and he's a piece of shit. Also, though, he was just he's a pawn. He really is seriously just one. He's just the face. He's just the pawn. Like, and just to keep in mind the entire system that put this in front of you and shows him as the caricature to present it, like, but that outside of this is an entire system of government that supported this wholeheartedly, and to not fucking trust it, please, for the love of God. Don't trust the fucking thing.
Yeah. We're going to do a whole COVID episode at some point in the near future, because we're coming up on what is it?
I can't even believe it's that long.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be 7 years in January.
Jesus Christ, man.
January was like the first time we heard about it. Yeah, it was like January 1st or 2nd. Like, China's like, hey, we got something going on here.
Yeah, so we might do a whole COVID episode at the beginning of next year. But for now, all I want to reiterate is that the second half of this episode is supposed to be about speech and the consequences of that speech, and whether or not we actually have free speech in this country, and if there's a two-tiered form of justice in this country. And Fauci affected everyone's lives negatively by the words that he spoke on national TV. We saw a montage of it a little bit ago. Very little of what he said was actual truth and could have been proven by actual
anything
science.
Against him is a fight against truth itself. Like,
exactly. And so the story that I'm about to show you, while the words that this woman is using are somewhat despicable, and I wouldn't use the language that she's using in this clip, she got convicted of a crime for speaking. And so I'm going to show you all this clip.
I don't even think the whole like disclaimer of despicable and how is even necessary. But
look,
I get it.
I do think it's necessary. Look, okay, hang on. I hate it when I have to defend Trump. Okay. But there are times when lefties are so deranged about what Trump is doing in certain topics that I have to defend Trump.
Is right twice a day, and I'm fine defending those minutes. Like, it's
That's exactly right. Like, and so in this particular instance, I do not defend what she's doing, but I defend her right to do so. And so this is exactly what we're gonna watch it real quick. And for those at home, it is what it is.
Him a nigger, the child? The fuck you talking Did you call the child the nigger word? It is my own business. You call him a nigger? Okay, why don't you have the balls to say it right now again?
Fuck you, nigger.
Okay.
Nigger.
All right, that's what you say.
You don't go digging through people's shit, you dumb fuck.
Nobody digging through your shit.
A little fucking kid just did, you dumbass.
That little kid, you call him a nigger? Yeah. The little child? Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child, 5-year-old, a nigger, the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know, that's a hate speech. And you can be recorded for that.
I don't give a shit.
Huh.
Fuck off.
Okay, we'll see about that, what the internet has to say about you. You call him a nigger?
All right. So this woman, her name is Shiloh Hendrix. She was just convicted of disorderly conduct because of the speech that she is basically speaking in this clip. Hang on. Let's see. I had give me 1 second. There's basically what the court referenced was a exception to free speech for inciting violence. And so the question here is, there was no call to violence. There was no antagonizing to try to get somebody to do something.
Yeah, right.
There was no violence that happened.
There was no.
I was going to say,
other than the kid supposedly stealing things from her purse and her son. And so whether that's violence, I don't know. We can talk about that. But the fact
negative
that
action
used that, because this is in Minnesota, by the way, and the guy who recorded this is a Somali immigrant. But the fact that the court used this in order to convict this woman, to me, feels like the nail in the coffin of free speech in the United States. Like we've the four of us and a bunch of other libertarians have kind of seen it coming for a long time. There are things you're just not allowed to say. Otherwise you'll get ousted from civil society. But now it's made its way into the courts, and we've seen this recently with memes that people have posted or jokes that people have posted online here in the United States. People have been convicted of this. This is the first time that I've seen where somebody is saying something out loud in person, where they're then convicted based on very egregious interpretation of what the law actually is. So yeah, I would love to, Zane, I would love to hear your initial thoughts on.
Well, lest we get too black-pilled, we have to remember this is one court in Minnesota, which is famously one of the worst states. So there are still,
is it?
Yes. Federalism.
Well, they elected Tampon Tim.
So federalism is still alive and well. Even as COVID demonstrated, things are not the same everywhere in the country. But what we're really grappling with here is should it be illegal to be mean? Should it be illegal to
Yeah.
Well, and what defines mean? What defines?
Well, no, that's in order to be threatened by a very small woman. Say vocalizing,
holding a child and walking,
holding a child, yes,
and walking away. By the way,
you have to bring things to that interaction that are not obvious and pertain to your internal mental state, as opposed to the reason you can't incite violence is that objectively people might come and hurt me if they listen to you. If somebody was listening to just her say that, it's not really obvious that they would do anything. And from what actually happened in the clip, everyone else clearly was not incited to violence at all. They were just kind of standing there because it was obvious that all that was happening was this woman was having a mental breakdown. So
I don't want to defend her, but it wasn't an inciting violence moment. That's not.
What I'm saying is the only way that you can say that this needs to be illegal is to say people can, based on their internal mental state, have opinions and have reactions to certain words that make it so that you can't expose them to that because of not because of anything objective about the
words.
What might happen to you if you heard that, but only because of how you might react to hearing that.
But what if everyone just decided tomorrow that the word broccoli just sent them into a fucking tizzy? And like, if you say the word broccoli, you're inciting violence, apparently, just because broccoli, you know, like, this is where, again, I don't feel like I like this woman. I'm not trying to be her friend. I don't want to sound like I'm defending her, but like, nothing about that felt like it was a call to violence.
Correct.
In the way that this is being charged. Like, you know, like if this is like you go into a crowded place and yell whatever, shark or fire or rape or whatever the hell, whatever the thing you're not supposed to do. I don't know. Go into a theater and yell shark, or go into the ocean and yell fire, whatever. It's not, even though sometimes I feel like are a little weird, and like we have these like little like caveat kind of like, you know, exception things or whatever. But when you just start like naming those exceptions that we have and just applying them to just anything, that's not okay. Like, that's not, I'll defend the situation of like, this is not a call to violence in the sense that this is being presented as.
I agree.
Yeah, so I don't think
everyone would. Hang on. I would also argue that shoving a camera in someone's face and following them as they're trying to leave
is more
hostile than just saying a word and walking away.
I would say there's an argument that it's equally as, and you're the one that's now prolonging the situation. You're pursuing the person, you're antagonizing, you're actually creating more of a disturbance than the initial thing in many cases, probably.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Go ahead, Zane. Sorry.
So I don't think anyone would dispute that the words that she said were objectively very mean and meant to be demeaning. However, you can't make laws that say you can't demean people, or you can't be mean to them or make them feel bad.
Because one day someone can define being mean as calling someone broccoli. Like, that's the whole point.
Is it how, once you go down that track, you then have to decide, well, is it legal to make someone feel a little bit bad? Is it legal to make them feel a medium amount bad? Like, there are things that you can say to me that would make me feel a little bit bad, but like, where you have to say, no, this is the line. You know, if you make anyone feel any worse than this, that's illegal.
Yeah.
But the amount of bad that someone feels by hearing a word is only contained in their own mind. And so there's no way of objectively evaluating it. And if you can't objectively evaluate it, then it's not a basis upon which you can make law.
I actually have a problem with the legal alcohol limit with driving a car for this kind of a reason, where we just drew a line in the sand and we were like 0.08, like, but 0.08 in a fucking college girl that's barely drank before versus like a 300-pound dude who fucking drinks every fucking day of his life is very different. The blood alcohol level is not your level of intoxicated, like your actual response to that. Like, that's a very different thing, because we build a tolerance in our systems, and some of it's genetic, some of it's body weight, some of it's tolerance, but we just were like 0.08, whatever. And if you're over that mark, same sentence, doesn't matter. Whether you were driving in a straight fucking line or you hit a tree and killed a pedestrian and fucking ran over a dog and whatever, like, it doesn't matter. It's 0.08. Like, and I have a weird problem with that. I don't know what it is, if I'm just defending my alcoholism, but like,
no, it's because you're.
Well, I would say that it's kind of weird to be pulled over if you're not like actually breaking any traffic laws.
I have been pulled over many times.
No. I'm not saying traffic laws. I'm not denying that it happens.
It happens all the time. Yeah, I agree it's bad, but
no. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. And
I was a bartender. I drove home at 3 a.m. You get pulled over if you're driving at 3 a.m. You get pulled over all the fucking time. I got pulled over one time because my headlight was out, was dim Or my
jeez.
the license light over one of my 2 license lights was dim over the license plate. I'm just saying they made up shit. Whatever.
Okay,
It
so
happens all the time.
I agree that if you're being pulled over for something that has nothing to actually do with bad driving and you're right on the line and then they tack on drunk driving onto it, that's crazy.
It
But
happens,
at least
though.
in this case, there is some objective criteria that they can at least pretend to appeal to and say this is what the law is.
Fair enough. I
In
was
this
just
case,
spinning off
there
of
is
that, but-
no objective criteria because the only one that you could have is, well, nobody's allowed to say this word, and the act of saying the word is now illegal. That could actually be an action that you could say is illegal. However, nobody wants to do that because the guy holding the camera in the clip says the word a bunch of times.
He also said it, yeah.
And nobody's saying that he should be charged with the crime. So obviously,
But he's
it's very
African,
context dependent. Or, well, you could also, and this would be very dicey, but you could say you can't say this word if you're white, but then what if you're like mixed race? How black do you have to be before it's legal?
What if you're
for you to say the
albino?
word?
You know,
That's a good question because I started to look up my heritage the other day, and there's probably some African in me somewhere. So
it turns out you're just gay.
Yeah.
But is it North African or Sub-Saharan African?
I don't know.
Well, there's a difference there.
I said probably. I don't know. But the question, I mean, it's a good question. Like if your ancient roots have 2% somewhere in Africa, can you drop the N-bomb?
I mean,
Like,
don't we all have ancient roots to Africa? Is that, or officially, isn't that the thing that is
Officially, genetically, yes.
I thought it was officially genetically, it was like Middle East.
Well, okay, but
It might be like maybe North African, but I'm thinking of like where they're tracing the mitochondrial DNA to, and they're like,
it ain't white. I don't
everyone
know.
could trace it to this one person that lived in somewhere in Africa at this point.
Also, the color of your
Lucy
skin
or
depends
whatever.
entirely on the climate. And so if the climate was different at a certain point in time in the Middle East or wherever, the skin color is going to be different as well.
I mean,
So,
I'm someone that
this
believes
is
the
stupid
academia's timeline
This
of the
is
human
some tangent that we just went down.
Yeah.
Why did we go down this tangent?
I don't even believe in the fucking the original, this story we're told about the human race anyway. So
Some quack asks an interesting question. Who pressed the charges in this case? And the charges were pressed by the Rochester
question.
City Attorney.
Oh, weird.
That's who pressed the charges.
Someone that just saw this video later and was like,
saw
I'm
the
offended
video.
on their behalf. Like,
They saw the video and did it on their
I mean, talk about white savior complex. I mean, give me a break.
I mean, the guy told her to say it, and she said it. So I'll defend that part of it.
Also, y'all want some more white savior stuff?
Oh God.
The judge who sentenced Shiloh Hendrix to a 90-day stayed jail sentence, her jail sentence got stayed, so she doesn't have to go to jail for 90 days, which is, I mean, idiotic that she ever got sentenced. 200 hours of community service probation and
Honestly,
$1,000 fine for using the N-word.
I'd rather go to jail than 200 hours of
This
community
judge
service.
right here has a history of giving sex offenders no jail time, and this person.
Oh, great! Oh, yeah, that's
This
a
is the thread I posted. Yeah.
No jail time for Rochester man convicted of possessing child sexual abuse material. Rochester community volleyball organizer sentenced for sexually assaulting teen. 2 years of supervised
This
probation.
is the volleyball organizer. Jesus
Recovery
Christ.
specialist receives probation only in second sexual abuse case involving
Second? No,
Rochester
there
man
shouldn't be a
30
second.
days in jail for 2021's child sexual assault.
God.
This was all from this judge right here.
30 days. I don't know the whole stories of these, but if these are on paper, if they play out the way that the article headline sounds, like if it genuinely is this man, like, because we're like going into this and like, what if we read an article that was like, woman that fucking, incites a riot in a playground or whatever. And it's like, oh, you just said the N-word once or whatever.
Although that's it,
they were convicted.
That is that's a very different story than like saying, you essayed a child. I mean,
I'm just saying,
like
if it
the
was
bar of saying that you hit
true.
that with a child. I
I'm
mean,
just-
that's
Jesus.
Nick, respect for Respect for you trying to keep the show monetized after all that we've been through on this episode.
Are we monetized? I don't even.
I know. I'm trying to use internet slang that's allowed so that we can. But yeah, no. I mean, you look at the video, right? It comes down to, I understand the whole like fighting words thing, but like when you're talking disorderly conduct, nothing in that exchange there was disorderly. Yeah, you said naughty no word, and keep in mind when it came to the conviction on this, the conviction was for saying it for the guy with the camera, not to the child, right? We can argue and say, I don't know how much we'd argue about saying something like that to a child being appropriate, which, that I'll say, no, come on, we're talking about children here. Let's not get into that.
She's not my favorite person. I'm not trying to defend her as a person.
No, when we're talking, guy with the camera says, eggs you on to say something, and it's obviously he's egging it on to get a camera clip, and there's no disorder going on, there's no fighting words going on, because there's nothing that's rising to the level of violence. Trying to claim that is disorderly conduct is ridiculous.
Yep.
And then we get to the judge who, when we start seeing SA convictions getting let off on this or that, or 30-day sentence for this or that, and the only thing I can think of is like that's where England is.
Yeah,
like we look at what goes on in the UK, right? And we have the whole Pakistani rape gang reports and everything that's gone on over there. And over the past 50 years, they're saying, hey, it could be up to 250,000 or 500,000 people, women were affected by this, because, hey, we're just letting these people in and doing what they want. And I mean, if you have to talk to the two-tier system, what's his name? Henry Novak. I don't know exactly how you're pronouncing that W, but right. I mean, those guys stabbed him and then claimed he did a racism, and then the cops handcuffed him, ripped the wound open, and he died. How much, how far away from that are we here when you're just saying, oh, you said a naughty no word, out of anger or frustration, you were having a bad day, and okay, here it's community service. Okay, you can bullshit through that, right? Everyone's bullshitted through community service before.
I wanted to go back and just say that I was just doing a quick devil's advocate thing, just in case. I just don't know enough about these other cases of her. I didn't want that.
No, I get that. I'm just saying,
saying if it was on paper, if it's what these articles say, it's not a good look, is what I was going to say.
Yeah, and you're seeing, oh, this person gets an exception for this reason or that reason, or they're an immigrant, so we're cutting this. But you, lady, you said naughty no word, so
to go hard on this but not on these other things that I think are much more damaging is a very, very bad look, and I wanted that to be my statement overall.
People got convicted of these other things, and she gave them no jail time or 30 days in jail for
30 days is insane for someone.
The idea that
his whole life
saying a word can get you the same jail time, or
a vibration comes out of your mouth.
That's wild. That should never be the case. It is unfortunate, and Nick's right. It does reek of that idiocy that's in England and the UK coming.
Well, England and Australia are like kind of the testing grounds for what ends up here later, and
that's what we have to watch, right? Like we have to watch what's going on, because those places are ahead of us in the ridiculousness, and so we have to be on guard and remember, hey, we do have the right to free speech, and like this wasn't like her stepping to him and then saying something about his mother or using the word, and then something broke out. This was her backing away and him going, oh, you won't say it again, and then she said it, and that's an instance like you talk online trolling or whatever. Okay, like I kind of give that a little bit of a pass.
But like England, Canada, even now, like there's places that are like basically like testing grounds for like what quote unquote like Western civilization is, like the direction they're going or what they'll tolerate or what they won't. And we saw that COVID honestly was a scary time for me. And just that I'm like, oh, we're like closer to hear these things than I would have liked to have believed or whatever. And if
you were living in a terrible place during COVID, though.
Yeah, you were.
I
one of the worst.
Dude, I was 15 minutes from the Canadian border, and it's part of the reason why I was okay with leaving, was because when you're just there doing your own thing and you're doing hikes and you're doing your own whatever, and like that's fine. But then, I mean, I was having a hard time living there through that. It was actually really challenging.
You were like, getting you back to the South.
Honestly, I mean, anywhere other than it was challenging.
All right. We're going to wrap up in just a second. Zane, I would like for you to put a bow on what we've been talking about. Free speech, consequences of speech, because there is a massive dichotomy between Anthony Fauci saying things that affected every single human on Earth versus this woman and getting no jail time or consequences. Hang on. And then Shiloh saying something at a park, at a playground, and getting stayed jail time, community service, and a fine. So could you talk about the dichotomy between those two for just a second?
I've already said everything I have to say on this. We need to get to trivia.
Fair enough. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all tuning into this episode. We're going to watch some funny videos here for just a minute, and then we're going to get over to trivia. If you are interested in more of what we have to say and what our show and our network and kind of what we are as a group are all about, go to peacefulseed.network and check out some of our other shows or other movies. We've got things coming up over the next few months and years, so go check that out. You can join the Discord by clicking the link in the episode description, and we're gonna watch some funny videos. And then
what do we got coming up, Jake? I mean, we've got great shows, but what's new coming up? Is Cat's show? Is that coming up?
No, I've said everything I'm gonna say right now.
Okay.
I have stuff to discuss with everybody behind the scenes. So go check all that out, and we're gonna watch some funny videos, and then after that we have our Libation Nation trivia hosted by Zane Placie on a separate stream. So if you're watching this on YouTube or X or Rumble, make sure you go click on that stream and join trivia, because that is a really fun time, and you get to compete against me, Alden, Nick, as well as other audience members in trivia. So that'll be in about 10 minutes. So
and Zane can't win this week.
So there we go. All right. Let's watch a few funny videos and then we'll get out of here. This is for all my Settlers of Catan lovers.
Have you or a loved one been injured in a game of Catan? Have you experienced irritation, high blood pressure, loss of friendship, divorce, bad sheep jokes? The creator of the game knew what he was doing. The 7 rolled, and they had to pick where to put the robber, and they put it on you one too many times, and now that relationship is over. Why make the 7 a robber? Huh? Could have been a Santa Claus. Could have been every time you roll a 7, you get to give someone a gift. Have you been muttering under your breath, "We had an alliance"? Have you found yourself sending memes that are overly aggressive in the group chat? Please send this video to a friend who's been injured in a game of Catan.
It hits too close to home.
Yeah, it does. Next one's POV telling a client their subfloor is rotten during remodel.
Come over.
Where are we going?
Oh, around. It's a surprise.
Zane, does that one hit close to home for you right now? Since you're
while all the renovations were going on, I lived in constant fear of this happening. Luckily, nothing that bad happened. There was one surprise under my the master bathroom tub while they were taking it out. They told me they had to put in like several $100s worth of concrete to make it be stable, but
Okay.
it was not anything like this.
That's not terrible. All right, next clip. I feel like we've shown something like this before, but I'm going to play it anyway. Not allowed to bark, but this is what my mom sounds like when she has friends over. Oh, it's so good. Yeah, I imagine many Goldens and Labs are thinking that. All right, final funny video. Then we're gonna head on over to trivia. Here's my version of therapy. Oh,
is that filmed out on your property?
sadly, it's not filmed on my property, but it's a very similar view. Although not right now. We're getting wildfire smoke from Oregon and Washington right now, so it's nothing but smoke in the air at the moment.
We dealt with the Canadian stuff, and that was miserable.
Yeah, no. This smoke goes all the way down to Florida right now. It's wild.
I've been seeing, it's been very hazy looking out of the window of my office, and I've been wondering if it's been that. But I suppose
That's Oregon and Washington wildfires.
The Canadian stuff gave us like 2 or 3 days of just like, it looked like fog, but you could just smell the smoke just constantly in like all day damn long.
100%. All right, y'all. Make sure to come back next week for more Liberty Libations and go on over to our Libation Nation trivia live stream. So go check that out. We'll see you there. Peace.